ASC Nation, welcome to the ASC Care Network. I'm here today. I'm Jerald, your host, and I'm here today with three of our regional vice presidents of operation. With us today, we have Keisha Wampler, our new RVPO. We have David Benson, and we have Stacy Burton. Between the four of us, we have 51 years of long-term care administrator experience. The purpose of this week's message is to celebrate our National Long-Term Care Administrators Week. What a great role we have within our industry, and we wanted to make sure to take some time to recognize you. So let's start out with our group and ask, why is the ED position so important in long-term care? Let's start out with Keisha.
Yeah, I think, when I think of a long-term care administrator and what they do in the building, I think of an orchestra. They're really that conductor that pulls all the pieces together to make this beautiful thing work. Long-term care is not easy. There are so many challenges that change by the minute. And I think, without that conductor, you just have each instrument playing on its own, and it doesn't sound necessarily always like the piece of music that's intended. So I think that's why, their job is so critical, is because they are that piece that brings it all together and really directs the goals and passion of their teams.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
The great conductor.
Yeah,
David.
absolutely.
Yeah, on that same line, it's all about leadership, right? Leadership is what? Influencing others. So as Keisha was sharing about the conductor and directing the traffic with music, we're asking our executive directors to be experts in multiple fields of instruments. We're talking about the culinary field. How do I manage raw food and that expense and making sure my residents have great meals? How do I manage the chemicals that my housekeeping staff are dealing with and making sure I'm the cleaning expert of the building? Maintenance, climbing on the roof, climbing in the attic, we're professionals now in heating and air conditioning. And of course, clinical, making sure we're taking care of our residents. So on that same route and same description of the conductor, it's all about leading different parts of the business all in one direction. And that's why I use the word leadership is influencing, because we're influencing people to move in the same direction. And that is so why, just another example, multiple examples of why our executive directors are so important in our industry.
Absolutely. And when you look back on all of our times as long-term care administrators, it could be a lonely job. We celebrate so many weeks in long-term care. It's a big part of our culture. And when it comes down to long-term care administrators week, oftentimes we don't take time to recognize ourselves because we're so focused on others within our organization or within our community. Stacy, I'm going to ask you a separate question. What is a major challenge for an operational leader?
Taglining off of what David said, all of the multiple departments that we have to be responsible for, in any given point in time, at any point in time in the day, we could have something going on in the therapy department that affects the nursing department that, in turn can impact and affect the laundry and housekeeping department. And, and then on to the culinary department, and all aspects of what we do, all of our respective departments affect one another. EDs are a lot like chameleons. They have to adjust and adapt to anything and everything that's going on around them at any given point in time to make it all work.
Thank you. And, people outside of our industry, they may not understand what I'm about to say next, but I think all of us and all of our listeners will. We have careers where we're dealing with our professional family, if you will. But then in the same breath, we're leaving homes where our families reside. And oftentimes when people have snow days, we have go days. So we're always navigating that space between your personal and your professional. So in regards to that, David, outside of the industry, what are some challenges that people outside of the industry may not really understand about these valuable long-term care administrators?
Yeah, I mean, we talked a little bit earlier about just the variety of conducting we have to do with the variety of departments and the different areas of expertise that are required. But we also have some outer organizations that are also pushing us and tugging and pulling at our leadership and needing our expertise to direct our facilities. What am I talking about? I'm talking about we have OSHA, that comes in and makes sure we're taking care of our employees. We have the local fire departments that come in and make sure, are you guys safe with fire? Not only local fire department, but our state fire department. And then of course we have life safety that comes in to make sure that we're safe throughout the whole building as it relates to that. And then of course we have the State Board of Health, who would like to make sure that we're taking care of our residents as well. And then beyond that, we have the feds that might want to check in on this state folks to make sure they're doing their job. And then of course, unfortunately, we have some lawyers out there that sometimes want to try to get some funds from us saying we're not doing our job. So there are so many pieces that tug and pull at our leaders that often sometimes distract us. And again, going back to the importance of the administrator and how important they are is to stay focused and make sure that they are taking care of the real goals set forth, and that is taking care of our residents, pulling the team together, making that beautiful music that Keisha was talking about as a conductor.
I love this beautiful music theme and the thought of the conductor. Let me tell you, for all of those listeners within ASC and outside of our walls, there's nothing more honorable than placing the needs of someone else before your very own. That's just a fact. But there's also not many careers in this world where people can come into your place of business, look under every nook and cranny for something that's done wrong, and you're okay with it. That becomes a norm. So as in the spirit of celebrating our long-term care administrators across the country, I just want to recognize your skill set, your ability to navigate multiple systems, and then your willingness to accept other people into your place of business and allow them to look in every nook and cranny because you're confident. You're confident in what you and your team bring to the table each and every day. Keisha, if you could describe an executive director in one word, what would it be and why? And I'm going to ask all three of you this question.
I would say, as I thought about this, the word steadfast came to mind, because no matter what kind of day it is, what's going on in your building, what best laid plans you have, you just have to keep going strong and steady in the same direction. I think of the term like long obedience in the same direction, which is patience, and that steadfastness. If you don't have that, if you're not that rock, it's difficult for your team. So I always think of my leaders as steadfast and just holding together and traveling that path, even when it's super difficult and on your worst days.
Long obedience is patience. Mm-hmm. I love it. I love it. It reminds me of, I heard a pastor say that joy is peace beyond circumstance. Long obedience. I'm going to remember that one, Keisha. Mm-hmm. Let's go with you, Stacy, next. One word and why.
Okay, well, I thought about this question, Jerald, and I had a lot of things come to mind, but I want to say leader. They have to lead their teams and all of those different departments that I spoke about earlier. And with that, the best leaders, I think, lead by example. And I think most of our executive directors have to do that every single day. And the second word, and it's really two words, but it encompasses one thought, chaos coordinator. Like I said, at any given point in time, they have to be able to adjust and adapt. If something's going on in the therapy department that, trickles to the nursing department, the housekeeping and laundry department, the culinary department, they are the coordinators to all of that. And it may not be chaos, but it's the calm that they bring to all of that, making that beautiful music that Dave and Keisha keep talking about. I just think that is what they do on a daily basis.
Awesome. David?
Yeah, I think I'm going to cheat a little bit too and use two words and go back to the word, not just leadership, but influential leaders. What is influence? Influence is defined really as the ability to affect character or behavior in others. And really that's what we're doing as leaders, is attempting to influence that character of each employee, the behavior of each employee to move in the same direction so that we are doing what really is the heart of our business, and that is caring for senior citizens and caring for others and serving others and doing that not by force, but by example. And that is where I celebrate our executive directors this week and just saying that you each are influential. You're influential leaders, and it makes a huge difference to our servicing the elders that we take care of, for sure.
It makes a huge difference. And that's something that our audience members must know. What you do every day brings value. It is so significant. And we appreciate you so very much.
Okay. Hey, Jerald, I have one more thing that I'd like to add. When thinking of the executive director role, I think of a servant leader, because they have to align with their teams on serving the needs of our residents. They have the ability, I think our EDs really need to understand that they have the ability to affect the lives of so many others. You know, they say an average individual spends 50 to 75% of their time at work. And if we're not happy at work, we're not going to be happy at home. And we have the ability to impact those employees and their families, as well as our residents and those adult children and their extended families. So I just think that that is so important for our EDs to know and understand that they have the ability to impact just an astronomical number of lives. I just wanted to make sure I added that.
Absolutely. And that impact is why we're here to honor them today. As we wind down this podcast episode, I'm going to offer each of you 1 minute and ask you to honor our long-term care administrators. So let's start with you, Stacy.
All right. I would like to say that I honor each of you for leading our long-term care communities. What you do every day is not for the faint of heart. For the last 2 years, over 2 years, you have been on the front line with your teams, which sometimes may have been lacking. And you've been on the forefront with the responsibility of caring for those most vulnerable to what we do. It's at the heart of what we do. And I would like to say thank you.
Keisha?
Yeah, I want to thank each of you for everything you do every day, and just remind you that no matter what, your presence matters. Even on your hardest days, on the days when you feel like you're not getting your to-do list done, you're failing your team, you know, we've all had those moments, and regardless, just remember that your presence matters.
And David?
Yeah, I mean, how do you honor someone? Honoring means what? Honor means to respect and to celebrate others. And that is no doubt that what we are here and communicating today about is not just respecting you as an executive director, but we celebrate you. We celebrate you because there are so many things to celebrate. We know we can talk about the good, the bad, the evil, but the bottom line is we celebrate the fact that we can come together and we can serve a group of people that we have come to love, and that is our senior population. So with that simply said, I celebrate you during this time for sure.
We certainly celebrate all of you all. You know, this past 2 years has been a major opportunity for us to lead. It's been challenging like we never thought before, but there's seasoning that has come through these experiences, and that seasoning you all have. You can't buy the experience. You can't read about it. You can only go through it. So with that, we honor our residents. We honor the people we lead by honoring and celebrating you, because you make a difference. We need you. We support you. We depend on you to advance senior healthcare each and every day. So on behalf of our leaders on this call, on behalf of the ASC Care Network, on behalf of all long-term care professionals across the globe, we want to say thank you. Happy Long-Term Care Administrators Week. And we hope you have a very enjoyable, drama-free as much as possible week. And just thank you.